Sorry, I'm recording this on the go. I'm shaking right now. This is not how I pictured Scrat's legacy coming to an end. I am absolutely disgusted and traumatized after having witnessed the abject murder of a god, and then seen millions cheer it on. Those of you who knew the truth couldn't hide your shock or your pain, because any sane human being would feel the evil of this horror, this despicable act. For those who still don't understand, a while back I made a theory on Scrat from Ice Age and what he's actually doing. The truth is shocking, and minutes before uploading the video I discovered that half of what I had said was already confirmed in bonus content. I spent the past 2 years recovering from this, and then just recently in January I returned with a godforsaken bombshell answering every single question from the Ice Age franchise. What were my conclusions? Well, watch them. To put it simply, I crammed the entire thesis of Ancient Aliens into a 10-minute video. If you're back, welcome. I have tragic news. Yes, the Baby Scrat show did just air. Yes, it was as insanely shocking as I prophesized, and yes, Blue Sky's last words are exactly as horrific as you think they are. Hello, I'm the Theorizer, and today was going to be the Mort Theory until I discovered another DreamWorks linchpin and threw myself against the wall again. Something more pressing has occurred, though, in the form of Scrat Tails being released in Blue Sky Studios, squeaking out one last pitiful telegram before collapsing in on itself. Scrat Tails is a demented little show, but the goodbye message tops everything, so let's get started. Scrat Tails ended up being a grand total of 20 minutes long, around 3 minutes per short, and there are 6 shorts. 1 introduces Baby Scrat, 2 is about musical abuse, 3 is where Scrat tries entrapping the baby, 4 is insane, 5 is a physics experiment, and 6 is a devastating, horrific, skeleton key of answers, basically. Let's elaborate. So in episode 1, Scrat encounters a little Scrat after mistaking him for an acorn. Pinch me. This isn't happening. This thing is part acorn. What did I tell you? And then look at this. Baby Scrat is the only being capable of sharing brain space with Scrat's nut fixation. This is because he is part nut. Then we get a look into Scrat's brain, where it appears as though his immortality is the product of his acorn obsession, which restarts his heart every time he dies. His brain fights over the 2 obsessions like the personality fracture I theorized before, and Baby Scrat tries sucking the nut. This means war. In episode 2, it's revealed that when Baby Scrat is angry, his screeches have the capability to topple mountains. No joke. Scrat can't take the acorn unless he distracts the baby otherwise, though, so he starts injuring himself in a rhythmic, musical way. Baby Scrat uses this to his advantage and blackmails Scrat, forcing him to use increasingly dangerous objects like a cactus and an electric eel. In episode 3, Scrat tries trapping the baby, but ends up failing himself and falling into liquid hot magma. But episode 4 is when we get the goods. Scrat and Baby Scrat are fighting again, and then the acorn rolls into a nearby cave that looks terrifying. They make funny reflective faces, but then the reflections stay there, before contorting their bodies, reaching through the ice, and breaking the laws of physics by ripping the acorn into their netherworld. Scrat and Baby Scrat look in horror as they see the reflections fighting, and they learn to love themselves more. The whole cave collapses and they escape, but when the acorn comes toppling out too, they begin fighting over it. Suddenly, strangest of all, we see their reflections in the outside ground, and now they're the ones not caring. Is this them from before, or is there another positive universe? Tiers of increasing savagery across an escalating multiverse? In episode 5, they once again have some antics with the acorn, but the single craziest scene in the entire Ice Age franchise hits us like a freight train. Scrat screams, and it zooms out on the, yes, still split Earth, before hitting us with a Milky Way shot that zooms out of their dimension and into the real world, where we see real storyboard artists frowning at the shot as Scrat's scream knocks it off the wall. What the Are they listening to me? In the finale, the acorn falls into a volcano and lightning strikes it before a cliff topples onto it, causing a massive death cloud to emanate. Tell me again that this thing isn't a godlike, conscious entity. Scrat and Baby Scrat learn to rely on each other as Scrat ages through the years. Baby Scrat even uses his powers to imprint them into constellations, and then Scrat straight up ages into death, while Baby Scrat does not age at all. He is immortal. But Scrat might be too You see, we once again see Scrat's soul leave his body as he returns to Nirvana, except wait, Baby Scrat played the long con and actually is a super genius who had the ability to manifest acorn death clouds. He then gets his acorn, which, being still alive, explains Heaven's continual existence. Scrat then possesses his own corpse and chases after the baby. This is all crazy, but following this, Blue Sky released one final epilogue where we see Scrat approaching the acorn and eating it. This should feel deeply wrong to you, because it is. This is the death of the universe. So my theories are as follows. Brace yourself, this is it. The epilogue either takes place at the very beginning or the very end of the timeline, most likely at the very end following his attempted return to the Arctic in the present. Scrat Tails likely takes place shortly before the point of no return. Baby Scrat is the love child of Scratet and the acorn, immaculately conceived and dumped in the limelight for Scrat to find, increasing his suffering tenfold. Scrat Tails wholly doubled down on my predictions. The reflections are a representation of their inner selves, the devil on their shoulders instilled by the acorn. I believe this cave is a portal to hell, perhaps built by the aliens, as it has a similar floor. The acorn represents the duality, and is both God and the devil in a multiverse of morality. The acorn represents the will of the fabric of space and time, which we see is operated on a storyboard wall at Blue Sky Studios. When Scrat eats the acorn, Blue Sky Studios as a company dies, and their telegram reflects this. Likewise, if the timeline is somehow inverted, then it means there never was an acorn, and it was his son the entire time. This also supports how Scrat has clearly lost his mind by being Sisyphus for centuries. The acorn is everywhere, constantly porting its will into a variety of vessels, meaning this is actually a clip of Scrat eating his son. This is simply a result of the fact that the timeline could go either way. The death of Blue Sky Studios also interacts with my Katie theories, as I'm sure they're well aware, considering acorns and clovers are both plants and gods simultaneously. If this ever comes to fruition, it will be within the next Cloverfield film. See my Katie theories, that is all. Good day.